Good morning, I'm Mackenzie Roth. College football week 7 on all Indiana bets. It is time to make you some money, honey.
I'm Jason Hammer. I went to a Pacers game last night, and a fan of the show came up to me and said, "You're not as fat as I thought you were."
And this show is about being a big fat winner. You're looking at
There he is.
We're on fire on this show, and it's about to start right now.
Let's go.
Woo!
This is All Indiana Bets, presented for the people, powered by Caesars Sportsbook and Lunazul Tequila. Feed the wolf.
We are so happy you're here. We're shocked as well that our show is continuing to roll on and roll on. What's going on? This is All Indiana Bets. Jason Hammer, Scott Long, how you guys doing?
Jason, you were talking about this. This is my first foray in doing TV weekly. And so you get some comment. By the way, negative, positive comments. Thanks for watching. That's
Yeah.
what I say. Thanks for watching.
Yes.
And if you don't realize, I know that I've gotten fatter. I do know that. I felt like during the pandemic, I gained all the weight that Adele lost. That's where I've been. I've reached a point where next week I'm going on a little fall break with the family. We're going to a water park.
Ooh.
And I'm like, oh, water park. I'm like, well, how can I'll go to Wisconsin. I'll just still fit in. I'll look good
Oh,
there.
man.
So that's where I'm going.
You're the thinnest guy in Wisconsin by far.
You have to
By
know
far.
where you're going.
You are the Zac Efron of Wisconsin.
I am. I tell you, I feel very good about that. So today, last weekend was the most amazing college football Saturday, maybe of my lifetime. I mean, it was just on fire from noon till midnight. Did you get to watch all the games?
I watched quite a bit, but there's a difference between watching the games and winning the games and making money on the games.
True.
And nobody, and it kills me to say this, nobody is on more of a roll than this guy, Scott Long.
Let's give him a slow clap.
Picking games at like an 81% clip right now. That's not normal.
I was 5-0 last week, so who knows?
5-0.
Incredible.
So time to fade Scott is probably what people think they should do.
Scott. And I'm in a group chat. I'm like trapped in this group chat with these guys. So you should see the banter during all of the games.
A lot of things we can't say on this program,
I can't
as a matter
reveal
of
any of
fact.
them, but I'm like, ah.
Yeah, I hope the NFL doesn't get a hold of him.
Oh, man. Oh, man. You guys want to talk a little Notre Dame?
No, because they're off this week.
Oh,
what I
well,
want
I
to talk
was going to
about
say they're off, but Purdue, okay, well, let's do our
is
teams.
the Hoosiers.
Yes.
Because
I want to
Indiana,
kick off with my Hoosiers.
your Hoosiers, this is a big one.
All right.
Let's cut to the BS here.
Yes.
This is a big game for Indiana
Yeah.
because you've had a bye week to prepare. So in essence, 2 weeks of practice time to get ready for this game. Homecoming down at Bloomington, an undefeated Michigan State team coming in. The line is 4, the over-under is 48. Scott Long, I don't love this game. This is not a game that I'm betting on, but it's kind of now or never for Indiana in this situation.
I don't like the game either. I think it's going to be a tighter game, so that's why I guess if I was going to go anywhere, I would sprinkle a little bit on Indiana. This is also the week to me that if Michigan State goes into Indiana and actually wins by a touchdown or more, that really demonstrates this is a high-quality team. To win on the road with a team that knows its backs are against the wall. So very interesting, and I think Michigan State has the week off. They play Michigan the following week after that. So I don't really know, but I know Alan Cashman, the wise guy, has a big pick on that. So please watch later.
And he's been rolling too.
Yeah.
Like the cash man, when he comes on later on, that's a big, hairy American winning machine right now.
Yes, you can't be the cash man and not win. But you always told me, don't bet with my emotions. Don't bet. So I have a hard time with my Hoosiers now.
And speaking of that, last week I told you that. And then my best bet of the year was the Iowa Hawkeyes. It was in the bank the whole game. No, not at all. It was just like grab your fingernails and bite them to the. Here's what I'll tell you right now. This game today against Purdue, Iowa has lost to Purdue 3 of the last 4 times, even though they were favored. That Purdue seems to have kind of their number. And speaking of number, I know Hammer was claiming that he has the insight on this game. I am not betting it. Let's hear from you, Hammer.
11.5 is a big number, Mackenzie. 11.5. And for me, that hook is big here because this feels like a 31-20 kind of game right here. And if that's the case, then my toes are tapping because I like Purdue with 11.5 here. They, much like Indiana, have had a bye week. They've had 2 weeks to prepare, trying to fix that offense. If you can get just a little bit of offense out of the Boilermakers, then I think you're going to be okay here. I like Purdue getting 11.5. This is a flat spot for Iowa. They've had a full week of everybody telling them how great they are. You're the number 2 team in America. You beat Penn State. And here comes Purdue. They didn't play last week. They're off the radar. They haven't been real good offensively, but they can't be as bad offensively as they've been every single week. So get that big drum out. I'm going to bang that world's largest drum all the way to the bank, and I'm going to pick up Purdue getting 11.5 today.
All right. Do you think that really affects it, like the mental game, when you get a little confident, some may say cocky, and it really affects the outcome?
I think more so with college kids than with the NFL.
Okay.
Because college kids,
They're 20 years old.
right.
Yeah.
You know, they've been going out on campus, and everyone's giving them the attaboys, you know, like, hey, way to go. You're the best. You're the greatest. And, you know, like Purdue, players haven't been hearing that. And
right.
They know this is, once again, a big opportunity to actually beat a team that they have a record that they have won against. I like Iowa in the game, but I'm probably with Hammer. Probably the points is where to go.
And that's what happens when Scott goes out to bars now. You had 5-0 last week. Attaboy, great job.
Right.
Please feed us more picks. We can't wait for the next episode of All Indiana Bets. Give us the money, Scott, please.
And he's out at the bars. He's like, oh, us millennials. I mean, what are you going to do?
No, they usually just come up and say, hey, what's Mackenzie's Instagram again? Because I'd like to see, where is that at Mackenzie?
At Mackenzie Roth.
There we go.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk a little Ball State, shall we?
Okay, because we've talked about your Indiana Hoosiers. We've talked about your Iowa Hawkeyes. Let's talk about my Fighting Cardinals of Ball State. They are at directional Michigan once again because that's what the MAC is. Half of the MAC is directional Michigan here. Ball State, they are a 1.5, give it 1, depending on where you find it at. A road favorite today at Eastern Michigan. Ball State's covered the spread in each of their last 6 games in the state of Michigan. And what I like about Ball State, and you can tell this comes from the coaching staff, every year they get better as the season goes on. This happened last year. They made a run to the MAC championship game. They won it. They got into a bowl game. They won it. Every single week, Ball State gets a little bit better. I'm willing to put a little bit on the Ball State cards today. Not one of my favorite games. I don't have this as an official pick, but party at the Chug. Ball State wins this game. Ball State greater than any directional Michigan.
Ooh, party at the Chug as well. I like that. Scott, what do you say?
So this is one of my picks, and I really liked 2 or 3 picks, and then it was a week where I was having a hard time finding one that I was like to add to the 5. And this was one of the 5 right here. Northwestern has been so good for so long in the Big Ten. They won the Big Ten, what do they call that?
Division.
Yeah, whatever is it the West?
Yada, yada.
I don't know. They used to be the leaders and the legends. They're horrible this year. They're not even, I don't even recognize them. And Rutgers, they have not been great. You're going to take Rutgers on the road? I don't even remember the last time Rutgers has ever been a favorite in the Big Ten on the road. You guys can tweet that out to me. I don't know the answer to that. But what I will tell you is Northwestern's just kind of phoned it in for the rest of the year. Go with the Scarlet Knights. Take the 2.5. This is really more of a takedown of the Wildcats of Northwestern, not so much on Rutgers. And hold your nose a little bit. Don't even watch the game. Just look at your phone maybe twice during the day because the game's terrible. There's better games.
Who do you think is a more well-known Rutgers alum? Former Colts linebacker Gary Brackett or former MTV host Ken Ober, who hosts Remote Control back in the day with a young Adam Sandler, young Colin Quinn. Anybody remember Remote Control? Anybody?
I do, yes.
I believe you've brought up Remote Control a few times on the show.
Love that show.
We obviously know that.
Like the one person that's still holding that flame.
I would go weeks without missing a question on Remote Control.
That's incredible. I'm going to go Gary Bear, or I'm Gary Brackett.
In Indianapolis, it's Gary Brackett.
Of course.
But I'll just want to know, let's phone Gary Brackett and see if he even knows who Ken Ober is.
Let's do it. He's very motivational these days, Gary
Yes.
Brackett. I love it so
Good
much.
guy.
You know who else is pretty motivational? He's a comedian. His name is Michael Ian Black. He's so much fun. He's performing
Very
at Helium.
motivational.
He's performing at Helium. That's not his book, but he is performing at Helium this weekend. He weighed in on what he loves. Don't forget Notre Dame off today, and comedian Michael Ian Black, he doesn't have that book, but he is super funny. You know him from Reno 911, Ed, The State, and his hilarious stand-up. He's at Helium this weekend, but he stopped by, of course, his favorite show to share his betting ways.
I reserve my sports betting for March Madness, and I go all out. You know, I save all my pennies all year for March Madness for sports betting, and I have one team that I always pick, Juilliard. And I will tell you right now, they have not done well. They really have not done well. And it starts to make me think, you know, maybe they shouldn't even be in the NCAA for basketball, you know? Because it's mostly singers, clarinetists, oboists, you know? They're terrible athletes.
Was your wife mad you bet the mortgage and lost?
Okay, it was a second mortgage. I had already lost the first mortgage. She wasn't thrilled, no. We live in a van now.
So many of our viewers can relate. Again, check him out. Helium Nightclub. He's so much fun. The Comedy Club. He's great.
And the thing about Juilliard is they've made the same amount of NCAA tournaments the last couple of years as the Hoosiers have. How disappointing is that?
That hurts.
Oh, come on. This is where we're drawing the line here. Like half the time I'm drunk on this show, but that's where we're drawing the line here. Come on.
Boo, I'm going to fade you so hard. All right, let's get to the game of the day. Everybody's talking about.
I think this is an interesting game because, again, since we're talking college basketball, Juilliard and the Hoosiers, Kentucky, normally a basketball power. When you think about the SEC and basketball, there's really pretty much only one team you think about. It's Kentucky. But this year, the football Wildcats.
Undefeated.
Undefeated, number 11 in the nation, but man, they're at number 1 Georgia today. And this is a line that started at 22.5. I think it's down to about 21.5. I'm going to pick this game a little bit later on. But Scott, we got a couple different storylines here. The rise of Kentucky and the number 1 team in the nation with the best defense, Georgia.
You know what, if you look at Kentucky's schedule so far this year, they've won the games, but they have been close games against some bad teams, including South Carolina.
Florida's not a bad team.
No, that was the one really good victory, but I'm just saying they've not been blowing people out, and I'm just really concerned for them. Mark Stoops has done a wonderful job. He's the only one of the 3 brothers that are left that are coaching. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. Now, SEC, you shift over to the craziest over-under I think I've ever seen in a major college conference, and that is Tennessee, Mississippi. Of course, they are offensive juggernauts. They're not much on defense. Under 82. Okay.
82.
82. So think about this. This is how you want to think about it. I'm going to bet the under. That means that if the game ends 41-40, you won your under. So this is the thing, I can't pass up games like that because I don't even have to. I know I'm going to be winning all the way at least till the 4th quarter. That's a nice feeling. So I think Tennessee's finally found their coach. Jason, you're a big Tennessee fan.
I like what Heupel's doing.
Found the coach.
I like him.
He reflects his constituency more.
He's got a double chin.
Yeah, right.
He's got a double chin, yeah.
He
represents us.
He's a big fat winner, just like you and I. I guess I just think he's a really bright guy. I think he'll slow down the pace just a little bit. He'll get under Mississippi's coach's nerves because, do we know a story about him in Tennessee, Mississippi's coach?
Lane Kiffin is dead to me.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah, he was there for what, 1 year?
Yeah.
Yes, and things were actually pretty optimistic for that year, and then he bailed in the middle of the night to go to USC.
Now he's dead to you.
And now he's dead to me. Now, here's the thing that I would caution about this under.
Right.
Tennessee has scored 28 points in the first quarter the last 2 weeks.
Right.
And that's against defenses that were allegedly a little bit better than what Ole Miss is bringing to the table.
Right.
And Ole Miss, I think, has the best quarterback in the nation. So, boy, that's going to be a tough one. It's a no play for me. It's my team. I'm taking Scott's advice and not betting on my team. But 82, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
Well, we'll see.
I think I'm going to make a big pick about this coming up later.
Oh, that's exciting.
Okay.
To that one.
All
But
right.
Hey, coming up next, though, hey, Scott Long, get excited. It's a long shot with Scott Long, his favorite segment. It's up next. You don't want to miss it.
All Indiana Bets, presented for the people, powered by Caesars Sportsbook. The Long Shot, presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook.
Caesars Sportsbook, they continue to sponsor this. I went 5-0. They probably were like, should we keep sponsoring this guy? Of course they are. They're brave. Some of these other fly-by-night companies not. And continually being brave is about taking a team that's getting very little points, like UCLA, on the road, maybe not had the greatest history in this particular game. Washington is terrible. I don't even know how this spread is even within 5 points. They have fallen totally apart. Their coach left last year. I just look at UCLA. This is a team that's been very consistent. Their 2 losses are against actually good teams. I would just tell you right now, you think about Los Angeles, Mackenzie, you think about Seattle. Where would you rather be?
You know, I like the sunshine.
Right.
Yes.
There will be little sunshine in Washington over that stands. I've looked at that. And that's why I'm telling you, the Bruins are the place. Chip Kelly spent a lot of his time in the Pacific Northwest having big success. This is a big game for UCLA. If they want to stay in the Pac-12 race, they need to win this game. I think this one's a pretty easy. If I was going to tell you to put your money on anything, this would be it.
All right, I'm going to go to a different game on a completely different coast here.
Okay.
We're going to go with NC State and Boston College here. Now, each of NC State's last 5 road games in October have gone over. And what I like about this matchup tonight is when you look at the total, it's a night game. And what you see with college coaches, when it's a night game, you got a little bit more juice in the stadium. You got a little bit more energy.
We like the juice.
And the coaches give the people what they want. You could see the trick plays. You come up with things that you haven't done in a long time because you're trying to fire up a fan base. This is an NC State squad that's good, but I expect Boston College, who is certainly no slouch, to be in this thing till the very end. I think it's going to be close, and when you have a close game, you have teams playing for the win, going for the jugular. I like the over in this one, the night game, on the road. Let's take the points here, and let's go over.
And later on in the show, I have thoughts on this game as well, on the straight.
Oh, well, a little tease there. Do you guys want to do a little balling on a budget?
Let's do it.
All right, I love balling on a budget because a lot of us, we just want to tinker. We want to play, even if we don't have a lot to play with, right?
Right. Well, no comment.
So many things Hammer wants to say, but he's restraining himself.
So if you don't have a lot of money, you can just take $5 and you can do a big parlay bet. A parlay bet is when you take all your bets, you put it together for one big bet.
But you call them sucker bets.
Well, they do. Parlay bets rarely win.
Right.
Everybody brags about the one they win, and nobody ever says nothing about the 50 that they lose. But I think we got a shot in this one here, okay? So $5 to win $70+. Michigan State on the money line. I like Michigan State to win the game. I don't feel good about the point spread, but we'll take Sparty to win the game. Florida on the money line. Again, I'm too scared to pick the spread, but I like Florida here. Buffalo, -7 in some action here. That spread has gone a little higher, but we're gonna buy that down. You can do that on your sports betting apps. You can buy it down. Baylor on the money line. Cincinnati, the spread is 22. Let's go ahead and take that down to 21. You don't want to be beat with an extra score. When it's 22, you need 4 scores to beat you. Let's buy that down to 21 and under Mississippi and Tennessee. Scott talked me into it. So if we lose, it's Scott's fault. $5 parlay would win you $73 here. It's a long shot. It's the equivalent of a scratch-off lottery ticket.
That's right.
But let's have a little fun, and this will keep you engaged all Saturday.
I like how you direct all the hate in case anything goes wrong to Scott Long.
Yeah, that's a smart move. That's a lot smarter than your parlay bets.
Oh,
I
come
would just
on.
share that gambling is fun, though. You have to kind of know. You know, I know we have our little thing that tells you, hey, don't, bet responsibly. And bet responsibly for one person is different than somebody else. That's for
right.
sure.
Yes.
Right.
And I've had different times in my life where it was responsible or not. And I'm just telling you right now, That's the thing I do love about balling on a budget. It gives everyone a chance
To get in the
and you watch
games,
5
play.
games and you're
Right.
like in stake with this. It's like fantasy football, but like you actually might get some money.
All right, they're giving us the sound. We've got to go to break. We're going to head to the bar, but coming up is the Evan Williams Best Bet. These are the games that are going to make you the most money. Up next.
All Indiana Bets, presented for the people, powered by Caesars Sportsbook. The Best Bet is brought to you by Evan Williams. Bourbon done right.
Back at the bar. It's our favorite spot we like to be. Little of this, little of that. He wasn't really measuring anything. He was just going by.
It looks good.
The amount
intuition.
of trash that you guys give me for the drinks that I make, like, you guys can go make the drinks too. Like, I'm being the team player here, and all I do is get criticism. Oh, Hammer, you didn't put enough mixer in there. Oh, it's too strong. Well, not me. I'm not worried about that. You know what I'm worried about? Making some dollar bills, y'all.
That's
and
right.
this brings us to my best bet, and we're going with the #1 team in the country. The Georgia Bulldogs at home against Kentucky. Now, again, this line has gone up to about 22 and a half in some spots. So I'm going to buy this down to 21 because 21, that's 3 touchdowns. If it goes 21 and a half, if it goes to 22, that means you have to get 4 scores to cover. I don't want to do that, because that starts getting into backdoor cover territory. Buy this down on your sports betting app or website, wherever you go. You can do that. Look for the teaser section. -21, Georgia covers. They beat Kentucky.
Wow. Said with authority. What do you think about that, Scott?
Well, there's a lot of buying down and buying up. My next bet, I want you to buy like 14 extra points. You're going to lose money on the bet, but I'll win it for the show. That's what I'm trying to tell you right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Okay.
busting chops with my friend here. Here's what I would share with you on this Boston College game, which was a great breakdown you had on the game. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I think you're going to win that side of it. I would just say Boston College should be the favorite in this game. They have played everybody really tough. I think Coach Hatley for the Eagles this is his last year here. He's going to get a big job somewhere. Highly respected in the business. North Carolina State is a team that's up and down. That concerns me a little bit. But Boston College has been great against the spread at home. I really happen to love this game. That's why it is my best bet. Take it to the bank. I haven't been steering you wrong. Let's see if I can continue on.
We do have some interaction from some folks watching this show.
yes.
Again, you can live tweet us, send us Instagram messages,
We love
whatever,
it.
if
we
it's
will
live.
read them live on the show, so we encourage that. What you got?
This comes from someone who says, where are we at with the Indiana-Michigan State game? P.S. Mackenzie looks great in white. Sincerely, Rob from
you.
Brownsburg.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate that. I really do.
I got moneyline Michigan State as part of balling on a budget.
Yeah?
But you told me that the
Cashman, follow on, because the Cashman's been on fire on this.
Yeah.
And I see you wearing this where you're like, I don't feel like you care about white rules any time of the year.
I'm a rebel. Like, I just ran with scissors in the hall. I mean, I'm wild.
And thank God I almost wore the same thing today. Like, how embarrassing would it have been if you and I show up wearing the same
Steal
thing?
this out of the wardrobe room. It wasn't cool. But hey, thanks, Big Rob. Please keep those messages coming. Coming up, though, your favorite. It's the Degenerate Special.
Oh, here we go.
Make you a lot of money. Coming up next. Welcome back to All Indiana Bets. We are so glad you're here. No one we'd rather spend this hour with. All right, it is time for the Degenerate Special. Let's break this down. What exactly is the Degenerate Special, Hammer?
The Degenerate Special is a game that nobody cares about. The players barely care, the parents barely care, but the fine folks in Las Vegas care enough to put a point spread on it. So I'm ready to play some ball. The money you can win on this game spends the exact same as you would if you bet an SEC game. So we're going to do a little maction here in the Degenerate Special. Kent State at Directional Michigan. This time we're talking Western. Kent State is on the road. They're getting a touchdown. And think about this. Western Michigan's been favored by 7 points or more 3 times this season. You know how many times they've covered? 1. Just 1. The Western Michigan Broncos score about 4 points less than what Kent State normally scores. And Kent State, they create more turnovers. When you look at the season stats, a lot of similar opponents here in the MAC. So when you factor all this up, when you do the math and you're getting a touchdown, man, I am in. Give me Kent State +7. On behalf of Kent Benson, Kent DeSormo, Jeff Kent, Clark Kent, every Kent nationwide, we're going to pick up 7 points, and we're going to Sizzler with our winnings. Your Degenerate Special,
Sizzler.
Kent State in some action today.
Sizzler, beef
Let's go.
tips on
Let's go.
camera.
That was thrilling.
Yeah.
I didn't know a MAC game could ever be that thrilling. Kent State, by the way, almost beat Texas A&M and stayed in the game with Iowa. So there's a little background too. Staying in the MAC theme, I have been with Toledo this year when they played Notre Dame. Cover, almost won the game. I had them when they played against Ball State. They won, they covered. Now, here it comes. They have been terrible, it seems like, every time I don't pick them. So I get calls from my friends in Toledo. They're like, you got to go with Toledo again. We only play well. The Rockets only rise when Scott picks them. Here we go.
Here we
Let's
go,
go.
baby.
Toledo has the most talent in the MAC. I'm not afraid of giving a few points to the Chippewas.
Directional Michigan once again.
Central
Chippewas.
Michigan. And I would just tell you right now, I feel really good with the Toledo quarterback. He's a redshirt freshman. He can run. He's got a lot of talent, more talent than we usually see in the MAC. Go with the Rockets of Toledo. I'm 2-0 this year on them. Let's hope I'm 3.
Oh.
Man, I'm digging all the
look at
MAction.
prayer hands he's got going on.
Digging the MAction, digging the prayer
Digging
hands,
the
digging the
action.
cocktail.
Digging the MAction. I like that. You can say that about, I like that little Mick-Mac action. Coming up, we're going to get
Mick-Mac,
some wise guy action.
Give the old man a bone. We're going to the bank, baby. Let's go.
Alan Cashman's coming up next. He's got some good stuff just for you.
Here we are, the wise guy, the hottest handicapper that picks 2 games on TV, Alan Cashman. What's you say this week, Alan?
I really like Michigan State -4 today at Indiana. Like this Michigan State team, Indiana doesn't do a really good job when they have to step up in class. You've seen versus Iowa, Cincinnati, and Penn State. Michigan State defense +5 in turnovers the last 3 weeks. This IU defense, they're number 90 points allowed. And this is a really good Michigan State offense that can pass and run the ball, number 15 in total yards. Michigan State 6-0 against the spread. Their last 6 as a road favorite. I'm going to take Michigan State -4 today.
Okay, not good for the local peeps, but hey, we got to keep it real. What is our other game you have today, Alan?
Going to take Air Force +4. They're at Boise State. I don't think this is a really good Boise State team. I think they're just average. They don't run the ball very well, getting just 1.9 yards per carry at home this year. This Air Force defense allowing under 3.5 yards per carry. Air Force runs this triple option, number 1 in the nation in rushing, and this Boise defense, number 98 in rush defense. So Air Force is 10-4 against the spread. Their last 14 as a road underdog. I'm going to take Air Force +4 today.
I like your Air Force as well. And tell us all kinds of sports going on right now. How do they get a hold of Alan, the hottest handicapper in the Midwest?
Just go to my website, thecashmanwins.com. A lot of deals up there for less than $2 per week. Right now, 1 year, $52. That's $1 a week. Get you access to everything I send to my clients. That's thecashmanwins.com.
Thank you, Alan. Talk to you next week.
All right, Scott, thank you.
All right, there you have it. The Cashman has spoken.
You're getting all these exciting texts. Like where did you get offered? You just said, this is crazy.
I just got asked to go to London, and I thought that would be so fun, but I have no time. I mean, I'm here with you guys, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be.
I've been invited to go to Florence, Kentucky.
There you go. Congrats.
Florence, y'all.
They were like London.
No, I'm going to Carnival.
Okay.
Brazil, Indiana. And I think they still have a rallies open. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Perfect. But if there's time, we'll do everything that we can.
Did I hear the cash man pick up Air Force right there?
Yes.
I feel good about your pick now.
Man, I was in on Air Force before, but hearing that big, hairy American winning machine pick up Air Force, now I'm in. I like Air Force with the 4. Again, the cash man has been rolling.
Yeah.
Scott's been rolling, and Air Force. I don't know if they win the game, but they stick around.
Yep.
They can run the football. Boise can't stop the run. So we're going to go with 4 points here. I like Air Force as well. That is one of my best bets of the day.
All right, we love it. Hey, when we come back, we're going to stop into the Thunderbird Fountain Square to celebrate Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week. Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
On the Rocks is brought to you by Elijah Craig Small Batch Bourbon.
Hello, friends. Brent Holberson with Heaven Hill Brands. Coming back to another version of On the Rocks here at the wonderful, fabulous Thunderbird here in Fountain Square. Today, we got a couple great people here. Mr. Josh Gonzalez, the owner, and our Global Whiskey Ambassador, Bernie Lovers. Gentlemen, how are we today?
Couldn't be much better. One of my favorite bars to have a drink in, have some food in, and I'll tell you what, just in honor of Thunderbird, I bought a 1960 Thunderbird.
I hope I get a ride. Let's take a cruise around the block later.
And you're going to make an old fashioned with Elijah Craig, which is one of the fathers of bourbon. You know, they say that as the story goes, his barn burned down, and he saved some of the barrels. He was still able to put bourbon in them, and that's one of the stories of how the charred barrel came to be.
Well, we'll talk about the story of the old fashioned then. We'll do some Elijah Craig. Elijah Craig's one of our favorite products here. We always have a barrel or two that we've got from you guys in Heaven Hills. I mean, pretty much all we pour. So really simple cocktail, really beautiful drink. The great thing about the old fashioned, it doesn't require much. We need some bourbon, you need some sugar, you need some bitters. That's about it. And technically, you kind of use whatever you want, but I always will stick with the bourbon. Here, we're going to use a 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. Less sugar, the better, in my opinion. We'll give this the bourbon shine. We'll do 2 full ounces of the Elijah Craig.
Same family.
Same family. A couple dashes of Angostura bitters. Go heavy on the bitters. I like to use aggressive dashes. Kind of like you're hitting with a little Tabasco sauce.
Be a good name for a band.
Right?
Aggressive dashes.
We'll hit it with some ice here. And then we're just going to stir.
Yeah, and that corn with the rye is going to make some nice spice, and with those bitters.
Really well balanced bourbon. I think it's definitely one of our favorites. And then last but not least, this is important too, is to sort of express that orange peel over the top. Those orange oils really going to bring out a lot of those citrus notes from the bourbon itself. Add some nice aromatics, really enhance the flavor of the old fashioned. And again, super simple drink, can't really mess it up.
And there's the old fashioned with Elijah Craig bourbon.
Thank you, my friend. One of my favorites. Thank you. Cheers. Outstanding. Come back and see us next time on the Rocks, and come join us here at Thunderbird. Cheers.
All right, hey, cheers to that. Looks delicious. The Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week weekend runs now through October 24th. Yum, you can join in the celebration. Help support our local bar and restaurant workers. To find a participating bar in your area, you can hit up the website, oldfashionedweek.com. That is the spot. All right, fellas, we are ready for your picks.
Old Fashioned Week. Does that mean we can do old school things? Like we're going to put the kids in the back of a pickup truck. We're going to put them on the highway, driving about 60. Nobody's going to wear a seatbelt, and we're going to smoke. That's what it is. It's Old Fashioned Week. The way things used to be. All right, let's recap what we got on the big board here. I like Purdue plus 11.5. They're not going to win the game. Purdue will not win the game, but 11.5. This right here, that hook, that 0.5, that's what's called the hook, that's going to be big. I think this is like a 31-20 type of game, and that's where that hook comes in. Too many points, it's a flat spot for the Hawks. I like Purdue. Georgia, this is up to 22.5, too rich for my blood, so I'm going to go down to 21. 3 touchdowns, I feel much better about that. Georgia, 3 touchdowns, we're going to ride the Lightning. Over, NC State and BC. 52 is the number. These are 2 good teams. I think this is going to be a close game. This is at night, under the lights. You always see a little bit more action on night games. Also, we are going to turn our attention to the MAC, the Mid-American Conference. This is our Degenerate Special today. Kent State getting a touchdown. I think Kent State might be the better team in this matchup anyway, but I'll pick up 7 points anywhere I can get them. And last, but certainly not the least, Air Force +4. They're going to run the ball. Boise can't stop the run. This is too many points for a game that's all about tempo. I like Air Force getting 4 points today.
The long shot this week, as I told you, was UCLA. Take UCLA +1.5. Let's go right next to a pick that I think Mackenzie wants to talk about as well. Ole Miss, Tennessee, under 82. Your day is over. You don't even have to watch the first half. Just watch the fourth quarter. Boston College +3. That is my best bet for the day. Wrong team is favored. Speaking of wrong team being favored, Northwestern is, I guess I'm wrong about that. I'm sorry. Rutgers -2. They're not the wrong team that should be favored almost any time. This is the week. Toledo, another Maction game, -5. Enjoying them. And 3-2 last week, Hammer, on our NFL show. Watch us tomorrow at noon. Woo, let's go with that.
All right, I like it. All right, now time for the Mick Pick, fellas. Okay, so I'm going to tell Hammer to sit his Vols loving keister in the corner.
Oh, come on.
I love you to Tennessee. All right, I'm going to take Tennessee Ole Miss under. I'm taking the under 82. Ole Miss may have the best QB in the nation. The Vols offense has put up 28 in each of their last 2 first quarters, but that number too high. All it takes a few punts, a few turnovers, and you're good to go. So it's going to be high scoring, but I'm going to take the under here. That's how it's done, fellas.
Man, that's the same pick I had, Mackenzie, over there.
I've got that on balling on a budget.
Yeah.
I do.
I do. Scott, I actually listened to you. Yeah.
She had
And
the
Hammer,
best
I listened to you.
analysis, though, of the week there.
All right, this is so exciting, you guys. New sponsor joining us today, Indiana Grand.
All right.
Run for the money. Brought to you by Indiana Grand Racing and Casino.
Thanks so much. This is Indiana Grand track announcer Bill Downs. Glad to be a part of the All Indiana Bets team. Well, I'm going to go over one of the big matchups in college football this Saturday. It's a nighttime matchup. It's UCLA at Washington. It's a homecoming game for the Huskies, and they're a 1.5-point favorite over the Bruins the last time I checked on the Caesars Sportsbook app. And it's, like I said, a homecoming game. Washington started off very slowly this season, 0-2. They lost to Michigan early on. And then, but they've really picked it up as of late. They're coming off of a bye week, so they'll be well rested for this game, and they should be motivated as well, since Washington lost at the last whistle against Oregon State at Oregon State. And Oregon State's a pretty good college football team, so that really wasn't a bad loss. I think the key to the Washington program and winning this game will be the play of the redshirt quarterback by the name of Dylan Morris. He's really started to play better as of late. Now for UCLA, they beat LSU early on this season. Everyone got excited, but LSU's really not that great of a football team this year. They're only 3-3. They've lost a couple times on the road. They lost as an 11-point favorite at Fresno State, and they got smoked on the road 2 weeks ago against Arizona State. They beat Arizona last week, and they covered a 16.5-point spread, but Arizona is not a very good football team. That was a one-possession football game with about 8 minutes to go. Some people think UCLA is good, but I'm not one of them. Let's go with the Huskies as my pick of the week. Before I let you go, I want to remind everyone that Indiana Champions Day is here at Indiana Grand on Saturday, October the 30th. First post will be at 12 noon. Over $1 million in purses on tap for that big Saturday here at Indiana Grand. Now back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Bill. Welcome to the team. Coming up, our final thoughts. Don't want to miss them. We'll be right back.
All Indiana Bets is presented by Lunazul Tequila. Feed the wolf.
Like, just too bad. We have no fun on the show.
I know.
I like doing the show with my brothers. I love it.
So we were talking about like possible promos, like commercials that we could air.
Suggestions welcome.
Ways that we could market the show. And because your last name is long, I thought about this. Channeling my inner Sir Mix-a-Lot, long, strong, Down to get the friction on.
So, tell us what you think. Like,
Right?
absolutely.
It's a line and baby got back before anybody sends any mean tweets.
Hey, tune in tomorrow if we're still on the air. And watch us at noon. The NFL picks 3-2 last week. My first losing week, so we'll be all over.
Yes, wake up. You're rolling the money. We'll see you tomorrow. Woo, cheers to that.
Good luck, everybody.